Colby Smith, and I'm super pleased to be joined today by the biggest base threat stealer in the PGCBL right now, Mr. Jack Clark. Jack, rough start to the season for this team. Tell me about how things have been going.
I think that offensively we just need to come up with the big hit late in the game. We've had runners on consistently, but haven't been able to put the big bang in the late innings to kind of put the other team away. But I think on the defensive side we have a few errors here and there, but I think we've been pretty solid in the field. Pitchers have been throwing strikes, walks here and there, but I think overall we look fine. Just got to come away with that big play, the big hit, something to put the other team away and put us on top.
Well, and how frustrating is that truly to get in those situations where you're playing in close games late and not being able to find that clutch moment?
It is tough, but kind of, the team kind of, I want to say loses confidence, but kind of makes us feel a little down just because we know we're right there, but we can't do the job fully. So it definitely hurts us, but you always have another day to bounce back and start pushing through.
Well, and talking about confidence, how do you go about trying to keep the confidence up despite some of the struggles?
Just pushing every kid, tap on the back, say you're good, bro, strike out in the air, whatever happens, make sure you have each other's backs. And I just met some of these kids recently, but the teams came together nicely. I know that if I strike out or I mess up, don't get a bunt down. I know the kid behind me can hopefully do the job. I got trust in the lineup that we all can hit. We're all here for a reason, so just kind of making sure everyone knows their job and that we're all good players here. So at the end of the day, just do your job, do what you can do to help, and if you can, you got the guy behind you to pick you up.
And talking about how this team's come together, if you had to describe this team's identity in short words or phrases to start things off here, what would you say?
I'd say we're strong and we persevere. We've, like you said a minute ago, we've had some rough patches, but I think every day we come back to the field ready to compete and be just to grind things out. It's not going to be easy. We play a long schedule. It's a long summer, so it doesn't define us at the start if we're a little shaky. We have a lot of time now to figure out what we need to do and to work on that and just to push through for a strong finish.
Well, and we were talking about it a little bit off the record the other day, but hard to get in a rhythm when you're not playing games on a regular basis. That's been one thing this team has kind of had going for them here early on. How do you feel like things are just going to start to get into a rhythm as you all start playing more?
Yeah, I think when you consistently get at bats, you see pitching more, you kind of see certain counts, certain at bats, pitches you need to look for. So I think the more you see pitching, obviously the better you feel. And likewise, if you fail, you have another at bat the next day, the next night, the next inning. So kind of helps when you're not playing every other day, every 4 days, just consistently getting at bats, consistently knowing that you're going to have another chance and not just wondering when the next at bat is just because the weather's kind of been dicey here. But definitely consistency helps in baseball a lot.
Well, and as somebody who's from down south, how weird is it having the rain and playing ball? I mean, just an environment like New York.
I mean, yeah, in Florida it rains basically every day, so we kind of expect to come up here and to play consistently and get away from the heat, but it's low-key been bad weather. Can't escape the rain. I guess we brought it up here, but the weather here is when it's not raining, it's nice. I mean, I enjoy it up here, but that rain is definitely came in here with us, I guess.
Well, and besides the weather, what are some of the things that you've really enjoyed about Oneonta and upstate New York so far?
Honestly, just the mountain terrain has been nice, just the views in a way. I mean, behind Cantine Field, it's pretty nice views. We don't really have mountains at all in Florida, so just the different views and sights, as well as the weather. It's not as humid here. It still gets to like 80, but I've noticed that it doesn't feel like as bad as Florida weather. After it rains in Tampa, the humid just sits there and you're sweating even if you walk outside. So I think just that's been a nice little change of pace for me.
Well, and as somebody who's from Florida, in an environment where you're able to play baseball all year long, how do you feel like that really contributed to your development as a ball player?
Oh yeah, for sure. When I've talked to some guys up here and they do, half of their training in a facility and whatnot, I never really had that type of training. I've always been field, in person, on the field, getting working on the ground, whatever. So I think that's really helped me to be able to year long, be able to just train to put work in on the field while some kids, throw their bullpens inside. I'm always outside, so I definitely think that's had an effect as well in travel. We play all year round in Florida, so we don't really have breaks off. Whether that's good or not, it's nice to be able to consistently work down south.
Well, and tell me about your experiences growing up. How'd you fall in love with baseball, and what's kind of led you to this point?
Yeah, so I mean, I've always played a few sports. I played flag football, lacrosse at one point, soccer for my middle school, but when it came to getting to high school, I went to a pretty competitive high school for sports, and I was kind of like, if I'm gonna focus on one thing and really try to pursue that, I might as well do baseball. It's what I've loved my whole life. Just kind of fell into place. I've always had the athletic side in baseball, and as my strengths develop, I've seen my skills improve. So just putting all my beans in one basket and being able to really just push. I've had a lot of good mentors back home, a lot of people who've helped me hitting. The high school I went to had a lot of big time players come out of it, so it's kind of just what I've grown up around the last few years, and it just kickstarted from there.
And what do you feel like some of the most important lessons that you've learned in both baseball and life to this point are?
I think that in baseball, I've been injured a few times throughout high school, so I think just not giving up. It's pretty straightforward, but for me, it really hits home just because I've been injured. I sat the bench some years in high school, which a lot of kids are like, oh, I played varsity 4 years, but I wasn't. My high school, like I said, was competitive, so varsity wasn't the right way for me. I had to gain that spot on my varsity team. So I think just understanding that it's not always going to be perfect every day. That's really helped me just see the view of the bench. Obviously, you don't want to be on the bench, but you can see a different inside of the game, and it kind of pushes you more to want to be able to be the best you can and get out there and play with the guys.
Well, and why did you end up choosing High Point University out of high school?
So I went to a camp my sophomore going into the junior year. My dad was interested in them. Well, he just told me go check it out. So I went to a camp. We ended up talking. I knew some kids who didn't go play baseball there. They just went to high school. I went to college there, and they said they loved it. So I was like, sounds like a great place. The coaches are awesome. Facilities are great. I knew it was an up and coming program, so kind of hopped on right away. And the year before I got there, they won the Big South, and this year we didn't win it, but we won 39 games. So we had a good year, and it's an up and coming program. We're gonna have a really good year the next few years.
Well, and Jack, you came up here to Oneonta with your teammate Jace Kohler this summer. Tell me about your friendship and just sharing a place here in Oneonta.
No, yeah, it's awesome with him. We always push each other. We go to the gym together. We do all the necessary training to be the most successful players we can try to be. He's there for me on and off the field. He's easy to be with. He's nice. And just the relationship we've made over the past few years, and because we played travel ball together, and then into college we were roommates. So just doing a lot of stuff with him. We've pushed each other, and it's been well. It's been good.
Well, and now you go back to Saugerties tonight, a place you were just at on Thursday before the off day yesterday. What's the atmosphere like down at Cantine Field, and what are you expecting in being back there again tonight?
Yeah, it's a really nice field actually compared to some of the fields I've seen here. I mean, they're all right, but this one's actually really nicely kept on the ground. The clay's a little bit hard. I kind of scratched my leg up there, but it's a good spot. I'm looking forward to it. It seems like they have a nice little fan base. When we played on, Tuesday or Wednesday, it was all right fans, but I'm assuming that a weekend game, they can definitely get a good show down there. So I'm looking forward to seeing some good pitching, just a good game overall.
Ted, thank you so much for your time. Good luck tonight.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Number 4,
There you have it from Outlaws outfielder Jack Clark. This Oneonta team coming off that tough loss down here in
Saugerties.
Second time already this year. This being the third trip, third time for this group in the early going. We'll be back here following tonight until July the 13th. 3 games total on the schedule with Saugerties this summer. 4 right here in Saugerties, and then the other 4 at Nebraska. Saugerties now controlling the season series by a 2-0 in
Oneonta center field with a 47-pound mound for the Outlaws. Josiah Asker, the head coach, Peter Mark, and the reserve, Oneonta Outlaws.
You did get the loss in that game the other night for the
Now, let's get started on the field.
But you really putting together a stellar outing from the bullpen, and that was one thing that assistant coach Josiah Asker.
I can get a little more noise from our travel teams out here. Let's be excited. Let's go.
Really spoke to how well the pitching has performed for this group to this point, and Duke really being an integral piece of that. I mean, his appearance against Auburn in the exhibition division of Oklahoma. Yeah, he gave up that 3-run bomb, but he was really good that night. Was touching time to 86 on his fastball that night. The pop was up a little bit the other night down here in Saugerties. Again, you see it 4 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, 1 earned run, striking out 2 was his final line as he took player of the game.
go to that aforementioned coach's interview from earlier today with assistant coach Josiah Haska to prepare for first pitch here in Saugerties.
Colby Smith back here once again with Outlaws assistant coach Josiah Haska. Coach, off day yesterday following that game Thursday night in Saugerties. Tell me about what you saw from the boys.
We played pretty well. One or two mistakes kind of took us out of the game. Hard thing to see, but bats were moving, pitchers were doing what they're supposed to do, so pretty quality game.
When you say that the bats were doing what they've been doing, I mean, Zach Carson, I was just talking about it, the timely hits have been missing for this team. What's got to give in that department?
Just a little unselfishness. I mean, you get up there, bases loaded, with one out, get a hanging curveball, you kind of just got to take a hack. Put the ball in play, take it to the outfield, get a runner in, and just be a little bit unselfish. Some of that, and then just some of the bases loaded situations have been tough because when we look back in the books, a lot of the times it's been off of 3 walks. And the pitcher may not be throwing strikes, and he comes in there and dots 3 fastballs in the next guy. And it's a little unfortunate, but we just got to be aggressive and willing to do the job and not necessarily worry about batting average.
Despite some of the struggles, what are some of the positives you've seen on the offensive side of the ball?
Adjustments. Our adjustments at bat to at bat and pitch to pitch as a whole have gotten a lot quicker from the first game to now. We're starting to see a lot less strikeouts. Or if we do strike out, it's an 8 or 9 pitch at bat, which is definitely something that is a good thing.
Well, and it seems like on the base paths, y'all have been willing to run a lot more here recently. What's the change kind of been in that mindset?
Just go. Some nervousness, not necessarily wanting to get thrown out, but we're starting to take that risk now, and we have the pitchers down for the most part. Got the timings, everything, this, that, and other, and now we're just taking it back.
Now let's go back to what you said about the pitching and the pitchers doing their job the other night. What do you think was the strongest focal point to, focus on?
Forcing swings. Threw a lot of strikes, not very many balls, and then it's kind of weird to say it, but our walks were very efficient, so we kept the pitch count low. 4-pitch walk isn't necessarily what you want, but in terms of guys getting out there and not having gone over a certain amount of pitches in a while, it's definitely something that is a weird positive because 4 pitches and get right into the next guy, or getting 1 out off of 1 pitch. That's something that was very, very good from our pitch staff.
Well, and I gotta ask, our player of the game the other night, Asa Dugan, came out of the bullpen, threw 4 really good innings. What did you see from his outing?
Just aggressive. He was on the mound, not worried about if they hit it or not, and he was just throwing fastballs down the throat. It looked like his off-speed might not have been working that well, and instead of just trying to figure it out on the mound, he did a very high-level thing and just move on to the next pitch and find the pitch that does work and force him to hit it.
Is there any kind of plans to get him started?
I'm not sure. I think he likes coming out the pen and he looks good, so might not fix what's not broken.
And Coach, going right back down to Saugerties, I mean, in this league, how weird is it to play a team back-to-back games like this?
It's weird. Just how it is. One of those things you can't really do too much about. You just gotta roll with it. It's definitely one of those weird things where we've been there so many times and they have yet to come here, but when you look at the rest of the schedule, they think they come here 4 times a week. Over the course of how we play. So it is weird.
Coach, thank you so much for your time. Good luck.
Welcome back here to Cantine Field as we're going to wrap out our pregame show here this evening. Outlaws and the Stallions meeting up for the 3rd time here in 2025 already. And again, the Outlaws coming off that loss Thursday night by a 5-4 final. Saugerties on the better end has got one in the 7th inning that would hold up. Outlaws, once more, runners left on base, a big problem for this group. They've now played 6 games, and in 5 of them, they've left 10 or more on the base pass. So 14 left on the other night, and that's something that you just heard there from Coach Joe. This group really needs that timely hit to start going their way, and they know that it's coming. It's just a matter of time because the talk around this Oneonta locker room right now is that once those big hits start to come, this team is going to be unstoppable. It's just a matter of when
they're ultimately going to start finding them. Outlaws are going to be led off tonight by Brendan Connolly, who's playing second base, as we will quickly flash our lineup up here on the screen for you. Connolly playing second, Bozen left, Jack Clark going to hit third as the EH, Zach Porter catches, Jace Kohler going to play third, Dane Richards, right fielder, hits sixth, Zach Robinson, the shortstop, seventh. Ian Wirtz going to DH. Connor Wading playing first, hitting ninth. And then Kazuhara rounds out the Oneonta lineup, hitting 10th. Connolly's going to come to the plate. He had Thursday night off after going 0 for 3 with a walk Wednesday at Amsterdam. Last summer against the Stallions, had 2 hits in 2 games, went 2 for 6 overall as he swings right through one to trail 0-1 in the count to get things going here. Connolly, 4 games played for this team, 2 for 14 with 3 runs, couple of RBIs to start the summer. As here's the 0-1, and he shoots it straight on bat, foul. Is the count going to drop to 0-2? Connolly also 3 walks, 2 strikeouts, a hit by pitch, and 2 stolen bases starting the summer. Connolly last summer, he did have some time in the leadoff spot for this group. Hit at the top of the lineup for Coach Keaton Mark on 9 different occasions in 2024. Starter on the bump for Saugerties is Keller Osborne, making his second appearance as his 0-2, sent straight on back. Hits the roof on the home plate grandstand, so Connolly's still up there in a 0-2 count. Osborne, June the 4th, and a 14-5 win for Saugerties here against Glens Falls through the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th, relieving Matthew Drillings. In his final line that night, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 runs in total with 3 walks and a couple of strikeouts. As here's his 0-2, and that one going to miss down off the lower outside, and a count to 1-2. Another thing that this team been doing also well in the early part of things is really working deep counts, deep ABs. Seen some 10-pitch at-bats already as Connolly, left side, going to drop in front of Justin Ford. He'll take the turnaround first, but he's got a leadoff single, and the Outlaws immediately in business to start this one. Connolly was really good in that position last year. Was hitting above 300 when he was in the leadoff spot for this group. As we'll go down to Nathan Bose here, the left fielder. Bose has been splitting time with Zach Porter and Ian Wirtz behind the plate. Bose going to take one. Lower outside edge for a called strike 1. 2 for 4 with a run scored the other night. Started 2 for 2 here against the Stallions with a couple of singles. He does have just 1 extra base hit starting the summer, which was a double. Came up at Shuttleworth Park, deep to the warning track in left center. Is the count going to move 1-1 as he took another breaking pitch to even it up. Bo stands 6-0, 205, and one of the things Sacred Heart was hoping to have him do here this summer in Oneonta is Connolly about getting frozen off first. And he gets his left hand back in there just in time. A little slippery here after some rain in Saugerties last night and this morning. But luckily Connolly not getting picked off as again it's a 1-1 count here top first. Bose spraying one off foul over the seats on the first baseline, so the count running to 1-2. But getting back to what I was saying is Sacred Heart coaches sending him here not only to get some catching reps behind the plate, but also to play some outfield, hoping that he can really become an integral piece and an everyday part of their starting lineup next year. And another pickoff attempt from Osborne, but Connolly getting back in there, standing up. Looking around the horn on the infield for Saugerties. They got Carroll behind the plate. Sanchez is at first. Z at second. Crusay at shortstop. And Comiskey at third. In the outfield left to right, it's Ford, Rodriguez, and Haben Siefkin. As Bose to the left side, Comiskey dives, turns to second just in time to get the force. As Z sneaks over there, covers the bag for the out. That'll be a 5-4 to retire Brendan Connolly. And Bose will reach on the fielder's choice. So there's 1 down as the 2 guys trading positions.
here getting things going. We'll go to Jack Clark, the extra hitter who you had the opportunity to hear from pregame today. He's hitting .250, 3 for 12 overall, has a homer which came Wednesday night, very first pitch of the ball game in Amsterdam as he takes ball one bouncing to the dirt opposite side. Also has 3 walks, 2 strikeouts, and went 1 for 5 here against the Stallions the other night in the 2 spot as he played right field here at Cantine. Bose looks like he wants to run. As Clark to the left side of the infield. Going to be scooped, fired across diamond on the run. Not in time. Getting Clark as he's speedy getting down there. So that will be an infield single for Jack Clark, and it'll be first and second here with 1 down for the Outlaws. Croce, Comiskey make up a very solid left side of the infield for the Stallions group. But Saugerties has had a handful of errors, sitting second in the Eastern Division, and errors to this point is Zach Porter checking his swing on the first one, but works ahead 1-0. It was one struggle for Saugerties over their first couple of games. Had 3 errors in their opener at Glens Falls, had a couple here against the Outlaws in that June the 1st matchup, the first game these two played, as Porter would take one upstairs and the count to 2-0. Since then, though, they've kind of settled into a groove, started to find their stride a little bit more in the field, and that'll happen as you go, getting to see those regular everyday reps at your respective positions here in the summer after maybe not having played that spot so much in school ball. 2-0's the count on Zach Porter, the Outlaw catcher tonight. And there's a called strike, framing the lower outer edge with Sanchez. Porter the other night, 2 for 3, a couple of walks and a stolen bag. This is now his 3rd appearance against Saugerties, as well as he did have a hit here in the June 1st game as well as a walk. So on base 5 times in 2 games against the Stallions as he sprays one bat foul, and the count quickly 2-2. Porter, the Outlaws' leader in batting average, still in this early part of the schedule, sitting at .421, and he's done it quietly because you've seen the big hits from a Jack Clark, a Jace Kohler, a Nathan Bose, and Zach Porter's kind of been one of the unsung heroes of this group to this point. Both base runners going to go on the 2-2. Elevator shot right side of the infield, drifting over Z. Both base runners trying to get back, dropped by Croce, covering the bag as Bose able to get back in there. So Saugerties on the infield fly. They do get the 1 out as Z coming down with it. But luckily neither Outlaw base runner getting picked off. And so we'll go to Jace Kohler, who's playing 3rd here tonight. Kohler originally in the first written Outlaw lineup today was going to get the nod to play shortstop tonight, but Zach Robinson, a late add to the lineup, he's over there left side of the infield as well tonight as there's strike 1. Kohler had the game off Thursday, one of his rare off nights that he's probably going to get this summer, but Wednesday at Amsterdam, 1 for 2 with an RBI, walked 3 times, also had a strikeout, as here's the 0-1. Both base runners, again, massive leads as Kohler going to get ahead. Kohler 4 ribbies, 5 walks, couple of strikeouts, and a stolen base already. Osborne had a quick conversation with Sanchez, and now he's walking around behind the mound. Kohler will settle himself back into the box. If he can find a way to get on and keep the half inning going, it will be Dane Richards next to bat. As there's a breaking pitch, going to miss down low. And Kohler now finds himself in a 2-1 count. 4 of the last 5 matchups against the Stallions will be in the home confines for the Outlaws. Both base runners going. This one to the left side, chopped right to 3rd as Comiskey taking it to the bag, forcing down Nathan Bose. So that'll go in as a 5 unassisted, and
a fielder's choice for Jace Kohler. So no runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 left on here for the Outlaws in this top half of the inning. And we will go to the bottom half here in Saugerties. The Outlaws coming to the field. Tee-off time is going to be a great night Monday at Damaski Field, sponsored by Arcade Seago. You see all the great activities we have planned. Giving a big shout-out to our general manager's assistant, Mallory Frazier. She's been huge in making all of our on-field activities and promo nights come to life this summer, and you're not going to want to miss being a part of it. Still plenty of home games to come for the Outlaws, 22 more to be exact, as we have only played 2 in the Damaski Field confines to this point. Saugerties is going to send Luis Rodriguez, their center fielder and bona fide leadoff batter, into the box, get things going. And that just above the plate from Evan Staroba is the count going to go 1-0. Staroba making his 3rd start of the summer, 2nd right here on the Cantine Field mound, as he did start an Outlaws' first trip here June 1st. That nice bat pit by Porter is the count going to 2-0. Only went 3 innings that night, and he's going to be on a short leash again tonight. Told me in talking to him before we left for Saugerties this afternoon, pitch count only 65, 70 tops here tonight. 2-0. Good frame job from Porter, sells the strike call, and it's 2-1. Rodriguez went 1 for 3 with a run and a walk last night in the Stallions' 5-4 loss in 10 innings in Utica. 2-1. And again, an off-speed missing, and the count to 3-1. Was after he had 2 hits Thursday night and stole 5 bags on the Outlaws. One of the things that the boys were buzzing about on the bus on the ride home was how fast Luis Rodriguez really is. 3-1. And caught that one off the end of his bat, put it up the line, third base side. So count runs full here on Rodriguez. Sophomore from Garnerville, New York. Now been on base 6 times against the Outlaws in just 2 games. Couple of walks, couple of singles, also was hit by a pitch in the first meeting. Here's the payoff from Staroba. And that one shot up first base line behind the Outlaw dugout, and so we'll try it again. Saugerties out here in the white tops tonight with the black numbers, yellow trim, white pants. Outlaws going for the orange tops with the black letters, black numbers, black shoulders, and the gray pants on the road. Second go at the payoff. Misses just low off the outside edge, and Rodriguez going to get on base to start things here in the bottom half. So Rodriguez going to find himself taking a free pass, and we'll go to Cameron Carroll, who makes his home Stallions debut tonight.
Carroll just getting into town early yesterday, made his debut last night up in Utica, 0 for 3, couple of RBIs and a strikeout. He hit sixth and played left field, so tonight he finds himself much different position, hitting second and behind the dish as he takes one high, ball 1. Carroll stands 5'7", 155, long way from home this summer as well, as he's from Jupiter, Florida, which is actually where the Miami Marlins, St. Louis Cardinals, if you're familiar with the spring training sites in Florida, do their time. That one, nice back pick, low and away, and a count running to 2-0. Carroll just finishing his senior year, Weber International, playing for head coach Colin Martin of Saugerties, and he wanted his bona fide everyday catcher up here this summer. As this one shot out in the left center, Uhara dives and comes up with it. Uhara leaving his feet, diving down to the grass, and unselfish play has been a huge thing for this defense starting the year, and you see another great example of it. Uhara, if you want to talk about a gold glove center fielder in the PGCBL starting things off, he'd definitely be a candidate in the conversation. We'll go to Nick Croce. 6-0, 185 from Chipotle as Rodriguez going to swipe a bag. Got a massive jump as soon as that one left the hand of Staroba. So he runs himself right down to scoring position. Sliding in feet first. And now Croce in a 1-0 count. Croce 0 for 3, a run and an RBI at Utica last night. Staroba turns around and now fires. Nice drop on the curve and the count to 1-1. Staroba still looking for a new school for next year. At Herkimer this spring. Great year, 7-2, 4 complete games, had 39 2/3 total innings across his 10 appearances. Turns back behind him and now fires. Rodriguez running again. Porter lost the mask on the throw, and just in time, Rodriguez somehow gets in there. Snuck his foot past Jace Kohler's left side. And somehow Rodriguez able to swipe 2 bats. Croce down courtesy of the swinging strikeout. And it'll be Travis Hobbins-Siefkin to swing the bat next. Porter going to come up a little bit in his crouch. Keep a close eye on Luis Rodriguez over there as that one fouled straight off. And the count going to drop to 0-1. Rodriguez has been an absolute monster on the base pass for the Stallions starting off the summer. Here's the 0-1. Good drop as Staroba had slider really getting in the zone to this point. Rodriguez now up to 16 stolen bats on the summer, leading the league as that one bounced off the plate and the count to 1-2. Hobbins-Siefkin 1 for 2, walking a strikeout at Utica last night. And he had 2 hits when the Outlaws were here on Thursday, as this one skied on up towards right. It won't quite get to the Outlaw bullpen, but stayed in the yard. So Staroba's already thrown 4 to Hobbins-Siefkin. We'll try it again. Rodriguez taking quite the lead off a third. Going to be running on anything close. Is Hobbins-Siefkin straight on back. Another foul ball. If he can find a way to get on base, would go to Justin Ford, the left fielder. One, two, down in the dirt, and he gets the swing as Hobbins-Siefkin going hunting for that off speed.
on the lower outside of the plate. Stallions going to strand one here in the bottom half of the inning on no hits, and they do not score, so we hit the second here at Cantine Field. Outlaws and Stallions, zeros on the board. Well, we'll hope that nothing's wrong with Nathan Bowes as he's going to come out of the game after just one inning. Outlaws making a defensive change, and that change in the lineup. Bowes comes out, and Zach Rowe will now be in left field for the Outlaws. So we'll keep an eye and ear out about that. But again, it's the Suco product who takes over left, and it's Dane Richards who starts off this half inning for Oneonta, taking ball one in the dirt. Richards, the K-man here in Saugerties tonight. He's still trying to get things figured out at the plate. Had the off night Thursday after going 0 for 3 at Amsterdam with a strikeout and a hit by pitch in the 10-run loss Wednesday. That one sneaks backdoor in the zone, and the count to 1-1 quickly. He does have 3 hits, 2 of which came here at Saugerties in the Outlaws trip here June 1st. That was when he had his only RBI of the summer as well, as it came late in the ball game, even the score at 2-2 before the Stallions snuck up 8 unanswered to the board, took the game that night by a 10-1 final. Richards 3 walks, 6 strikeouts, hit by pitch, and he's 0 for 1 and trying to steal bats. Here's the 1-2. Swung right through as he went hunting that fastball in the lower outer quadrant. So he will take the walk back to the dugout. And we'll go to Zach Robinson, who's got family in the stands tonight. The Gardner Webb product from South Plainfield, New Jersey. His family, just a short trip to get here to Saugerties. So love to see the Outlaw parents popping out and supporting as Robinson. 2 hits. And 8 at-bats starting the season. His only 2 games he's played have both been here at Saugerties as he gets ahead in the count 1-0. He had a double in the Outlaws' first trip here that kept on carrying towards right. Thought it might result in a home run. Hasn't hit one since early on in his senior season. Is that one going to miss outside the zone and the count running to 2-0. He does have some pop in his bat. Regards his gap-to-gap hitting as the best asset he has. And now the 2-0. Missing once more high. And the count to 3-0. Osborne from the first base side is 3-0. Comes back in the zone. And it's a 3-1 count. One away here, top 2, Cantine Field. Outlaws now 1-5, trying to snap a 3-game skid. Saugerties 4-5 after losing last night in a 10-inning heartbreaker on a walk-off in Utica. This one shot right off Carroll's chest protector behind the dish. And the count running full after Robinson had worked ahead 3-0. Keller Osborne, a Santa Rosa Community College product out of Pueblo, Colorado, misses low, ball 4, and he has tossed up his first walk of the night as Robinson going to be on base. So Oneonta doing a job, continuing to work counts and find guys on base, and now it's just a matter of what we talked about and starting off the broadcast. Got to find those timely hits and find a way to get guys around the bases. Ian Wirtz, the designated hitter, makes his second start. He caught the game Wednesday at Amsterdam. 0 for 2, had a nice sac bunt. Took a couple of walks as well as he takes strike 1 right down the gut to fall behind. Wirtz didn't play at all this spring at Lehigh, but his coach has sent him here saying he's got a lot of pop in his bat, a lot of potential. Robinson's on the run. The throw from Carroll skips away, rolls into center field. Robinson's going to stay put as it didn't go too far with a good backup by Rodriguez. But he does move up 90 feet and grabs his first stolen bag here at 2025. So love to see Zach Robinson swiping one, getting himself in a scoring position. Certainly makes it a little bit easier here with just one away. Try to get on the scoreboard first. Outlaws have scored first 4 of their 6 games as Wirtz in a 1-2 count. Scoring first is nice and all, but got to find a way to play a full 9-inning effort. Jack Clark said it best himself in that interview, but this team has had 1-2 bad innings, it seems like, in just about every game as Wirtz down swinging. Went reaching for one below the zone, and he also walks back to the dugout as Osborne. 2 strikeouts, 2.5 inning already, and it's Connor Wading who continues to seek his first hit here of the summer. Wading's 0 for 12, but as I said the other night, continuing to find some ways to get on base in key moments. 3 walks, 3 hit by pitches, and he did have a sat fly in the Outlaws' first trip here as well. Wading stands 6-0, 225 in the box. Here's the 1-out, and gets a called strike on the outside. Like he wanted to go. Connor's always fastball hunting when he gets the opportunity. It's been his go-to pitch to hit for all of his college days. 2 years Herkimer and then Canisius this spring before his injury. Tapper up the third baseline, curves foul. And so Osborne a chance to strike out 3, end the inning right here with a 1-2 count on the Outlaw first baseman. Sanchez pinched over a little bit off first. Z doing a nice job trying to hold Robinson close, keep him honest. The pitch just barely going to drop low. Osborne sinking low 80s on his off-speed stuff. Slider and a change. Trying to work in a curve as well. As the 2-2. And Wading, going to take it above the shoelaces. Count runs full. You need a guy who can sit back and wait in counts to get his pitch, and Connor Wading is certainly that guy here in the bottom part of the lineup for this group. He's huge in that respect as the payoff bounced in the dirt. That's ball 4. And 2 walks, 2 Ks in the inning for Osborne. Keep it alive. Kazuhara going to come up to the plate with a chance to do some damage. Uhara's only got 2 hits on the season so far. Still very young, 2 for 13 in total. Both his hits have been doubles. A couple of runs scored, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts, 3 hit by pitches, and a stolen base. First pitch swinging right to Osborne. Underhands it to Sanchez, and that ends the half inning. So Like the attack there, aggressive first pitch, but it doesn't pay off on this go-around. Will be top of the lineup for the Outlaws when they come back to the dish in the third. But first it's Saugerties to come to bat here, bottom 2. 0-0 is your score at Cantine Field. Bottom of the second here in Saugerties. Evan Staroba back to the hill as he's going to see 5, 6, 7 in the Saugerties lineup. Justin Ford in the box, and he takes a breaking pitch for a called strike 1. Ford had the night off yesterday in Utica. First game that he has not played. 1 for 3 with a run, an RBI, a walk, and a strikeout when the Outlaws were here Thursday. Stands at 6'3", 185 from Roxbury, New Jersey. And Saugerties was certainly lucky to get this guy back this summer as he had 355 leading the squad last summer. Rolls right through the lane to Waiting in the shallow right. Connolly's going to chase it down, and that will be the first error of the ballgame for the Outlaws. So Waiting had an error the other night here as well late in the ballgame. And the defensive miscues got to start to subside. Can't call out anybody, can't make any mistakes when those timely hits aren't coming. And got to do it on both sides of the ball, play a complete 9-inning game, both on offense, defense, and from the pitching standpoint. As this one to Jamie Z, going to miss. Ball 1. So again, it's Justin Ford at first after the E3. Jamie Z, incoming freshman going to Notre Dame. 1 for 5 with a run and a strikeout yesterday. And he tasers one up, right side. Porter chasing it down in front of the dugout, makes the snag. So very nice play there for the Wofford catcher. Justin Ford staying put at first, didn't try to advance. And now Casey Comiskey will come up. Comiskey 0 for 3 with a run, couple of watts last night. Hitting the 6th spot in the lineup at Utica. So slides down just 1 spot as the Stallions continuing to only bat 9. Ford looks like he wants to get a jump and run. Is this a broken bat? Up the line, foul ground. And so Comiskey will need a new piece of lumber. And the count, 0-1. Comiskey concluding his sophomore year, Seton Hall. Continues to try to find a rhythm here for the Stallions at the start of the season. Has slid around, been utility guy. 4 for 29 in total with 5 runs, a couple of RBIs, 7 walks, and 3 strikeouts. Staroba, the 0-1. And that one, Porter keeps it in front as the count runs to 1-1. Looking on the infield for Oneonta, now with the change. Porter's behind the plate, first to third. Connor Wade in, Brendan Connolly. Zach Robinson's at short, and they got Jace Kohler at third. Zach Rowe in left, replacing Nathan Bowes. Kazuhara's in center, and Dane Richards is in right. Comiskey, a 2-1 count. He went 0-for with a walk the other night as the big jump, and finally Ford gets the bag. He looked like he had been wanted it on each pitch, and finally moves up 90 feet, racing down to second. Comiskey does take the strike on the swing, and Ford's in scoring position with just one away. Staroba the 2-2. That one sails in towards the letters. Count runs full. Comiskey going to have Logan Sanchez, who's playing first, and Jack Painter, the designated hitter, up behind him, and Colin Martin's starting lineup of 9 here this evening. Staroba, third payoff of the game. That one sails high over his head to the backstop. Justin Ford didn't try to run on the wild pitch, but Comiskey going to get on, courtesy of the walk. Second one, Staroba's fired up, and it'll be first and second here for the Ponies with just one away. Stallions, they were lucky they snapped that 3-game slide here the other night. It was the first time since the first week of July 2022 that they had lost 3 straight, and they hadn't lost 4 in a row since early in June in 2021, so it would have been historic if the Outlaws had found a way to send them another one. But another close game for this team, and again, we keep saying this team a lot better than 1-5 to the record says. There's a high one as Porter springs up, and it's ball 1. They've been in every game they've played. You look at opening night in Amsterdam, it was 4-4 game until the 7th inning raveled away, and 8-5 ended up being the final. Look at when they were here at Saugerties, was a 1-1 game for a large part of it, and then Saugerties ripped off 9 in a row unanswered, took the 10-1 victory, turned around and off for a couple of days, beat Auburn in an exhibition, smoked Utica in the most convincing game that this team has had. Lost a heartbreaker at Mohawk Valley after tooth and nail the entire game, 8, 7, and 10 innings. Once again had a couple of days off due to some rainouts, and then turned around and 4-4 at Amsterdam, gave up 10 unanswered, lost 10-4. And the other night, of course, here in Saugerties, 5-4 the finals, another back-and-forth game. So as you can tell, it's been an all-over-the-place start, been a very weird start to the summer, and now something certainly got to give and change here quick for this group. 2-0. Going to miss high. 3-0. So after the mound visit from Porter, hope that Staroba can find a way to creep back into the zone. Staroba, Chetson looks back behind him, is 3-0. Comes in there on the upper outside, 3-1 it'll be. Sanchez off night yesterday. He was 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs and really turned some heads here in the Stallion victory the other night. 3-1 pitch. Swing and a miss as Sanchez really stepped into that one. So Staroba, a second straight full count. Outlaws, nobody up and starting to stretch in the bullpen as of yet. Connolly drifting towards second as the payoff misses. Ball 4. And Sanchez kind of taunting Evan Staroba a little bit with a head shake there on that one. So we'll keep an eye if that becomes something to watch. But bases are going to be juiced with 1 out. And Jack Painter will get a big opportunity to try to do some damage for the Stallions. Jack Painter just 125 to this point. 3 hits and 24 at-bats, 3 RBIs, 3 walks, and 4 strikeouts. He was not in the lineup on Thursday, but did have a hit when the Outlaws were here back on June 1st. Finished 1 for 4 in that one. So again, there's 3 on the pond with just 1 away, or bottom 2. Saugerties looking to cash in first. The pitch blasted out in the shallow center, drops in front of Cajuar on a 2 bounce. Coming around to score is Justin Ford. All the rest of the base runners hold. And that's just 1 as Saugerties, an RBI single. Jack Painter gives them a 1-0 lead. So Justin Ford trots in from third. Advanced Casey to Comiskey for scoring along with us at home to third. Sanchez to second, and Jack Painter's now at first as we go to the top of the lineup for Luis Rodriguez. Rodriguez a walk and stole 2 bags back in the first inning. So he's up to 8 bags over the course of the last 3, and still plenty of game tonight as he pops this one a mile high. Porter tosses the mask off, comes over and makes the play. He's had 2 just to the left of his own dugout tonight, and that's a big out, retiring one of the best pop bats in the lineup ahead of Cameron Carroll. Carroll flew out to center field in the first inning. Took 2 balls and then hunted a fastball and popped it plenty high to Kazuhara, who had to dive over and make a play. Carroll takes one high and up for strike 1. Carroll will see what he decides to end up doing for his last year of eligibility next year. As his 0-1 turned on out to left, just curves foul as Zach Rowe went for a long jog to try to get to it. Zach Rowe, when we were talking about some 5K runs that were going on in Newall Park a couple weeks ago, and mentioned our Outlaws 5K that's coming up on Saturday, July 5th. So make sure you register 5:30. It'll actually be ahead of a game against Saugerties at home. It'll be a huge night. Every participant gets free admission to our game, but said he would never run a 5K. Running's not his thing, and so he certainly prefers pitching as opposed to playing the outfield. But Suni Oneonta relying on his legs a little bit out there in the field too. Staroba, first base side. 1-2, high in the air to right. Taking a couple of steps back. Richards going to yank it out of the lights, and that does the job. So after Evan Staroba gets into quite the jam, he holds Saugerties to just 1 run. They leave the bases loaded, and we go to the top of the third here at Cantine Field. Saugerties, a 1-0 lead. Outlaws have already stranded 4 on the base pass as we bring you back here to Saugerties for top 3. Stallions a 1-0 lead as we get an RBI single from Jack Painter to get him on the board. Brendan Connolly will start things off, and that will drop just low for ball 1. Connolly's single to start off the ball game was forced out 5-4. He's looking for a new spot for school ball next year, following 2 stellar years at Hudson Valley Community College. Connolly hitting north of 300 each season. He's a team player, one of the guys who always shows up early, trying to get to know his teammates, organizes little things for this group to do off the field, and he would be a great addition to any Division I or Division II program looking for a middle infielder as he turns on one to right field, dropped in there in front of Abin Siefkin. He's got himself a 2-for-2 start as the leadoff spot certainly does something special for BC. So Connolly with his first 2-hit game of the summer, and we're only in the 3rd. And now it's Zach Rowe take his first at bat of the night. Zach Rowe 2 for 6, starting things off this summer as he takes ball 1. Criminal justice major at SUNY Oneonta, aspirations of being a police officer later on. Short lead off first for Connolly, and he's back in there standing up. And Rowe now takes another one low as the count running to 2-0. Rowe turns, blasts one left side, foul territory, and the count runs to 2-1. He was 1 for 4 the other night when the Laws were here. He's had a couple of great pitching appearances as well, including his outing at Amsterdam Wednesday, which earned him our player of the game nod. Is this one going to bounce away from Sanchez on the pickoff attempt? Connolly's going to cruise into second standing up. And that will be a costly miscue for the Saugerties infield, as it will be E1 and move Connolly over 90 feet to second. So the count to 2-1 here on Zach Rowe. And now Oneonta a prime opportunity to even this game right back up. Rocho's bunt puts it backwards fouled, so that was probably his only chance to do that, as I'm sure Keaton Mark going to take the bunt sign off with 2 strikes. This team is very good at keeping an eye on the sides and making sure they're doing all the little things right, trying to play fundamental baseball. 2-2. Rowe. And foul ground, chasing it over. Comiskey caught just to the left of the tarp, as we didn't quite pan far enough. But Comiskey comes down with it. And that will be out 1. So he covered a lot of range to get over there. It certainly makes it look easy, as Jack Clark will now step up. His job tonight to do some good bat work is the EH, and he did single in the first inning on a 1-0 fastball. That one will be a called strike, as Osborne able to squeak one up in the upper quadrant. Connolly still a short lead off first. Got Croce about 3/4 of the way over to third left side, and Clark not going to offer as the count to 1-1. Got Sanchez drifted over off of first here on the infield as well. To have Rodriguez slightly shifted more towards the left center as opposed to straight away as the 1-1. And Carroll slides over, keeping it in front. Count goes to 2-1. Outlaws have not won here at Cantine Field in 727 days, as their last victory here was June 18th of 2023. Just Keaton Mart's second ever trip here as head coach. And since then, Stallions 6 in a row in this ballpark against Oneonta. Clark now ahead in the count 3-1. Stallions on a streak of 12 consecutive wins against the Outlaws as well. Saugerties and Mohawk Valley have certainly had this team's number over the last couple of years as Clark fires the bat away. Connolly took a big turnaround third, and if Carroll hadn't gotten to that one too quick, might have tried to come home. But it'll be a wild pitch, advancing Connolly over to third. And put Clark at first on the walk. We'll clear out the count for you. And it's first and third again with one out. And now middle infield probably going to be looking for a ground ball. Porter shot one high up on the infield to second his first time up. And Carroll, nice slide over. And a count working to 1 out. One out, and that'll get away as Carroll having a hard time corralling these ones from Osborne. Clark moves up to second, and it's 2 in scoring position for the Outlaws. Takes off the double play. And Porter's certainly going to be looking for one get to the outfield. They are going to pinch Sanchez up from first as he's on the edge of the grass. 2-0. And Porter hammered out into left field, diving to the ground, lost the hat 4. Tagging from third comes Connolly. Outlaws tie this thing up as it's a sac fly from Zach Porter.
Ford with the effort play out left field makes the diving catch. Run the score as the
So a big one from Zach Porter out in the left field, but more impressively, Justin Ford's catch out there. How about it? Came charging forward and just dived and put his body on the line for that ball. Clark's still at second, though, so chance for another run as his teammate Jace Kohler gonna laser one off foul. Him and Jace Kohler, a great friendship. Roommates at High Point University and roommates here in Oneonta this summer as well. Nathan Bose, the other guy who's living with them, is they're standing on a place off Deet Street for the 3 of them. Kohler count even at 1-1. He did reach on a fielder's choice back in the first inning. And Clark and Kohler were talking about how yesterday they really got the opportunity after getting here a little bit late and not having those extra days starting the summer that some of the other guys had to kind of explore. They really took yesterday to get out and around Oneonta and see some of the sights. Both of them are big into hiking and mountain ranges and trying to get outside as much as they can, being from Florida, so certainly a lot different environment than what they're used to. Played travel ball together growing up as well, so that's how they knew each other even before going to High Point. As Clark on the run, a third slap tag on and somehow snuck his hand in there. Jack Clark squeaks in over to third. And he's up limbering, it looks like a little bit. So keep an eye, make sure Jack Clark's all right too. It looked like he was flexing that hand a little bit, and he has, as he talked about in his pregame interview, dealt with his fair share of injuries to this point in his life. So got to keep an extra close eye on a guy like that, and especially a guy who's been also valuable to this team starting things off. 2-2's your count with 2 down. Osborne looking to end the inning, and there it is. Jace Kohler going reaching for one. Down and away. Outlaws get a run. on one hit, no errors, and they strand Jack Clark on third. To the bottom half of the inning we go here in Saugerties. It's a 1-1 ball game. Back here to Saugerties, bottom of the third. Nick Croce going to take one high and away for ball one. Croce struck out swinging as the second out in the first inning. Staroba, first base side, and that one going to break in low. 2-0. We'll get the scoreboard back up there for you. And fix that count too. Still tweaking things on our production side, as you've been hearing about all summer long. We're trying to work in a bunch of new graphics. Nope, wrong. There we go. So 2-1 the count with no outs. Trying to clean up our production side of things this summer, work in some new graphics, and we're still working on incorporating our new camera angles at Cantine Field, hoping we're going to have at least 3 of our angles up and working on Monday. It's kind of been the project here and getting things started, as this one skyrocketed up the middle and going to drop in shallow center in front of Uhara. Leadoff single for Nick Croce. And Saugerties 3 straight innings have started with a base runner. So we'll go to Travis Hobbins-Siefkin, who struck out swinging in the first. It ended the frame. Saugerties left Luis Rodriguez on third. They've left 4 on through the first 2 innings. Left 9 on yesterday in Utica as well. It's been a big problem for the Outlaws. And it's also been a problem at times here for Saugerties starting things. Hobbins-Siefkin trailing in the count, 0-1. Saugerties has left 10+ on 3 of their games. They've left 9 on each of the last 2. On the run goes Nick Croce. The gun throw pulled Connolly off the bag, so wouldn't have even had a chance. Croce grabs the bag. So he runs himself in a scoring position for now a 1-1 count. Hobbins-Siefkin, sports and fitness leadership major at Johnson University. Hoping to go into athletic training later on down the road. Staroba checking back behind him as the 0-2. And check swing, and say Hobbins-Siefkin did not go. Croce still hanging pretty close to that second base bag. Again, Hobbins-Siefkin Did have a hit the other night against the Outlaws, following up his 0 for 3 game against Glens Falls. So a single hit in each of the last two. As this one left side, going to squeak through the hole between second and short. Uhara charges, rounding third, Nick Croce. Not going to have a play at the plate. As in the score, Nick Croce. That's an RBI, Haben Siefkin. And Saugerties takes a 2-1 lead. So Evan Staroba hung one up there and certainly paid for it. Was a good piece of heads-up base running for Nick Croce as well, knowing that one snuck through between Connolly and Robinson. Uhara had a good throw getting it into Connor Wading, who was covering that right side of the infield. Didn't seem like there was much communication on that ball on the Oneonta infield, so that's got to change. As Haben Siefkin on the run, the throw down to second, and somehow Haben Siefkin snuck his right foot in there. He grabs a stolen bag as everybody's running against Evan Staroba tonight. Certainly looked like Connolly got that tag in there, but field umpire right there behind him has the better view. 0-1, and this one over the Outlaw dugout. And count will run 0-2. Justin Ford reaching on that waiting error, trickled through his legs, rolled into right field his first time up, stole second, and came around to score the first Stallions run of the game. Staroba checking back behind him, making sure Haben Siefkin not going to run again, as this one bombed off foul. And Ford 3 pitches deep, still in an 0-2 count. 3 hits apiece on the board. Stallions a 2-1 lead. Here, bottom of the third. Outlaws finally going to get back to the home confines Monday, Tuesday, Friday, Saturday this coming week with just one road game scheduled this week, as we'll flash our week ahead for you coming up after this half inning comes to a close. Monday, you'll be home against Utica. Tee-off time night, sponsored by Arcot Seago, so free general admission, 7 o'clock start. Tuesdays, rescheduled game against Glens Falls. That's also a 7 o'clock start. Family fun night, sponsored by the Oneonta PTO, is the 1-2. Broke away low, and the count running to 2-2. Off day Wednesday, Thursday, the lone road trip. That's the Glens Falls first matchup of the year with the Dragons on the road. For Friday, hosting the Stallions team. And Pete Oberacker, our senator of the area, going to be throwing out the first pitch. It'll be free admission by NBT. Is this one out into the right center gap? Haben Siefkin going to be waved around as the send side's on all day long. He scores. It's another RBI for Justin Ford. And the Stallions move on top now 3-1. So, massive hit. And now the Outlaws going to start to get an arm war out in the right field bullpen. Justin Ford just turned and barreled up that baseball like it was nothing. Staroba's yet to record an out in the third. And finishing what I was saying, Friday night, also Star Wars night is again that one against Saugerties, free admission, 7 o'clock. Saturday will be Hawaiian night. That'll be a 7 o'clock start. And also will be free admission. So, handful of free nights coming up this week. Each one, no excuse not to come out to the Maskey Field and catch the Outlaws. Justin Ford looking like he wants to run now as well as that one. A little brush bat. Jamie Z, count ahead 2-0. Z popped one. Zach Porter over towards the Outlaw dugout back in the second inning. Porter had 2 plays in that same half inning. Ran him down in that dirt. 2-0. Skyrocketed up, waiting, chasing it over. Going to run out of room and then some. Love the hustle, love the grit, though. That's one thing waiting the Golden Griffin product certainly good for over there at right side corner of the infield for Oneonta. He from Hosbrook Heights, New Jersey, at Bergen Catholic. He was a .364 career high school hitter as he rips right through one to even the count at 2-2. Had 5 bombs during the course of his senior season, and after wrapping things up down there in Jersey, came here to Saugerties for the summer, and Notre Dame certainly excited to see what he can do, flashing the glove and the bat here in the PGCBL. In the right, diving Richards comes up with it, tagging to second, and in there, Justin Ford, allowed out to Dane Richards. No, he drops it. So Richards seemed like he corralled it at first out there. My apologies. It will not be an F9, so I'm jumping the gun here. I know Dane Richards, and know that for him, he's going to watch that playback later and think, what could I have done differently to come up with that ball? Staroba is going to hand the ball off to Keaton Moore because he doesn't come up with an out here in the third. Outlaws, a call to the bullpen is again a hit for Jamie Z. Sees him at first. Justin Ford will be at second, and there will be nobody away. And we'll introduce you to our new arm when we come back here after this break. Daniel Payton's the first man out of Keaton Marsh's bullpen here on a Saturday night in Saugerties. Payton is hoping to have himself another nice outing. He did throw coming out of the bullpen in Mohawk Valley Thursday the 5th, so 9 days ago. Came in with 1 out in the 7th, following Jordan Goebel, and recorded 3 outs as Porter throws this one over Wading's head into right field. Both base runners for Saugerties will advance 90 feet. Justin Ford getting to third, Jamie Z to second, and things are starting to unravel quick for this group on the defensive side of the ball. That'll be a second error of the game. Mark it as an E2. And those are both Staroba's base runners. And now Dan Payton going to have to try to shake that off. Again, he threw against Mohawk, gave up 1 run, did strike out 2. And the week before against the Amsterdam Mohawks, he had an outing that was very uncharacteristic of himself. Got the loss in that 8-5 season opener. 4 hits, 4 runs, 4 earned runs as he gave up a lawn ball the Auburn second baseman out of Amsterdam. Peyton looking at both base runners. Waden drifting in on the corner of the grass. Is this one carrying into left. Curves left to the pole, foul. Comiskey certainly took that one for a ride. And if they're going to be barreling up balls like that against him, then certainly he's going to have to try to pitch away from contact. Peyton, you heard from him on the pregame show Thursday, which was also his 21st birthday. Committed to go to Montreat down in North Carolina this fall. A long way from home in Canada. As the check swing strikeout, Porter springs up, fires it to Waden to play back to the plate. Porter does, and doesn't get his foot back on the plate in time. So Ford with some good heads-up base running, able to score. And it'll make it 4-1 in favor of the Stallions. So Comiskey put it in as a K2-3 for an out. Jamie Z will still be chilling at second. And it will be Logan Sanchez now to bat. Logan Sanchez walked and was stranded on second as Saugerties left 3 on back in the second inning. Waiting will now shift over as Connolly's going to drift up a little bit to cover back behind second. Peyton turns and looks as he deals home. And that's a fastball in the dirt as the count going 1-0. Logan Sanchez, another guy for this team who's trying to find himself in a bit more of a rhythm. From North Central Texas, which is a JUCO, hoping to go back and have another strong season, find himself in a Division I or Division II program afterwards. Chopper up the line, foul. Count's going to roll even. Sanchez, got to wonder what the thought process was in giving him the off night yesterday after his red-hot night on Thursday. As he, as we mentioned in his first trip to the plate, had 3 ribbies against the Laws of the 5 on Thursday. Short lead off second, Jamie Z. 1-1 count, now 1 out on the board. Daniel Payton trying to keep this game within striking distance. Swung right through by Sanchez. Count to 1-2. Peyton just kind of drifted that one. A little bit of sweeping motion on it. Does get a lot of movement to his off speed. Hoping to level up his fastball, and that's one thing that's been a huge goal for him. This will bounce away from Porter on the pitch in the dirt, so will be a wilder to get Jamie Z to third, move it up 90 feet. So Z's just 90 feet away with 2 outs. There is 2 strikes, and Dan Payton needs some kind of a put-down pitch to get himself out of this inning. Waiting will drift up from first. This one carrying out into right field, drifting back. Caught by Richards as he'll gun this one in. Peyton will jog to home. Richards threw an absolute dime to the plate. But that's a massive tag. Jamie Z stretching it to a 4-run lead. It'll go 5-1. So Saugerties is playing small ball here in this 3rd inning. Those runs will be charged to Evan Staroba, so we'll get you his final line here in a moment. But Jet Painter going to get ahead in the count 1-0. Painter had an RBI single 2nd inning, as that one going to drift in high, called strike. And the count even to 1-1. Peyton nods left side, and that'll be a nice bat pick. Count running to 2-1. Saugerties hoping to slide up here, get some more runs. Now the bases are empty, and Daniel Payton working in a low-pressure situation. Is the count on the breaking pitch going to make it a 2-2? He needed some kind of low leverage situation, get his confidence back and get to feeling it. Peyton's one of those guys who's big team guy for this group, always willing to carry things off the bus, last guy to help out with the laundry, and does just about everything that's asked of him and more, as Painter going to be down swinging. When looking for that off speed, can't connect. Peyton retires 3 in a row here to end the half inning. We will go to the top of the fourth after Saugerties pots a 4 spot in a 5-1 Stallion score. Top of the fourth inning, Dane Richards will lead things off against Keller Osborne. It will be Richards, Robinson, and Ian Wirtz here in the top half of the fourth. As this one going to come backdoor in the zone for a called strike. Osborne never threw more than an inning this spring at Santa Rosa Community College. Their program finished 44-3 out in the CCC this year. Was a phenomenal season and certainly had to have been thrilled to be a part of such a deep run. 3.86 was his ERA in his 4 appearances. And here's his 1-1. As Richards to the left side of the infield on a 1-op. Croce crossed the diamond high but in time. As a nice pick by Sanchez, able to get it done. 6-3, put it in your butts. Richards at least putting balls in play, not one to be the K-man again after striking out in the second inning. Zach Robinson, the shortstop, will now come up. Keaton Martz having a quick conversation with the umpiring crew. And now he'll walk back towards the third base box. He coaches third. Josiah Ask coaching first for this Outlaw team, as they've done for each of the last 2 summers. This is year 3 on the coaching staff together. Both played Heidelberg University. Spent 4 years together and were roommates for 3 of them. That one, drop in there for a called strike. Robinson walked, stole second in the second inning. Got left there. Outlaws have stranded 5 through the first 3 as the 0-1. And Carroll keeping it in front of him as the count to even. Ball and a strike. Outlaws bullpen is quiet at the moment, so got to think Dan Payton's going to come back out for the bottom of the 4th. He used to start games in high school, so not too unfamiliar with going deep. Just hasn't done it in a little bit of time. Did have a redshirt year during his time at Hudson Valley as well. So again, the count's at 1-2 here. 1 down, 5-1 the lead. Favors Saugerties from Cantine. Stallions have won each of the first 2 of the season series as the count goes. 2 balls, 2 strikes on the miss. Osborne's velo continuing to sit mid to upper eights as it's 2-2. Bounced off the plate, and the count goes full. Ian Wirtz is taking some pretty big practice hats in the on-deck circle for the Laws right now. He still really hasn't had a big opportunity to showcase that pop in his bat that led him to Lehigh U. And it's Robinson going to be frozen looking. Didn't even pull the bat off the shoulder on the dropping slider. And there will now be 2 down for Ian Wirtz. Ian Wirtz, really solid high school career. Had quite a few Division I offers and ultimately chose Lehigh and certainly made his impact felt in his freshman year. 15 games, 11 starts, and even though he only hit 182, really showed signs of promise. That one misses low, ball 1. And that's what you got to think about when you're young and joining a program like that. It's all about the promise that you show, the value to the program, and Wirtz certainly did that. His glove was highly regarded behind the plate out of Cheshire, Connecticut. But just a matter of really getting those everyday reps, and as we continue to say, just find a rhythm, get into a groove. Wirtz, this one high as the Grand Canyon can go deep. Left side, caught by Crow C, and he'll drop it down quick and get his squad off the diamond. So that'll be a piece hit, end the half inning. Laws go down 1-2-3 for the first time tonight, and we will go to the bottom half of inning number 4 in Saugerties with Dan Payton jogging back out to the hill. 5-1 Stallions is your score. Welcome back to Saugerties, bottom half of inning 4 from Cantine Field. Saugerties going to have top of the lineup up as it'll be Luis Rodriguez, Carmen Carroll, Nick Croce to face Dan Payton, who remains in the ball game after getting all 3 outs behind Evan Staroba in the bottom of the 3rd. All 5 runs do get charged to Evan Staroba, 3 of which will be earned, and he gives up 5 hits this evening, strikes out just 2, and Dan Payton already with 1 strikeout to his stat line as well and starting things. And what's hopefully going to be a long multi-inning outing. Rodriguez, the 1-0, takes it low, and the count quickly working to 2-0. Rodriguez stole a couple of bags in the first inning, got left on 3rd as the Stallions' only base runner in that opening inning, and he popped one up to Zach Porter his last time in the 2nd inning as Evan Staroba getting back-to-back with Carmen Carroll flying out after the fact, ending that frame. Payton got to settle back in here as the count moving 3-0. His final line, Hudson Valley this spring, 1-0, a 3.60 ERA, 4 appearances, and he only had 5 innings. And continue to mention it whenever we talk about the Vikings pitching, but I mean, the starters ate all the innings, so it didn't really leave much wiggle room for guys out of the bullpen. And Peyton, and talking about his commitment to Montreat in our pregame interview yesterday, was just talking about how he really hopes he gets some innings. He knows a couple of guys on that team, and, well, just wants an opportunity. And that's one thing that you really look for in an arm. Pitchers, not exactly in abundance. I mean, yeah, certainly they are, but good ones who can come in and get innings and do a job, and especially that are team players, really hard to find, as Carroll takes strike one. And Dan Payton, as I said in the last half inning, the true definition of team player for this Outlaw group, just always lifting everybody up. He's the guy who's chirping nonstop in the dugout and might get him into a little trouble from time to time again. As Rodriguez on the run down to second. This one going to bounce away from Robinson. Good backup by Connolly. Allows it to stay right there on the back of the infield. But Rodriguez does move up 90 feet. He'll be at second, and the count goes 1-1 on the Saugerties catcher. Peyton carrying the BP caddy off the bus, goes back, gets batting practice balls, and he's usually the last one out of the dugout as well, and just always in good spirits for this team, no matter what day, no matter what the score is, no matter what's going on the diamond. As Richards goes for a run in right field, falls to his left side. Rodriguez, the send sign is on. He's being waved around to score. Cruising to second goes Carroll, and Saugerties, their lead is now 6-1. Carroll gets his first RBI as the Saugerties Stallion at home after having two on the road last night, and it's his first RBI hit, so that's something at the very least. But 6-1 goes your score up on the board, and Outlaws really going to have to get it together here. Mercy run rule in the PGCBL, not that we want to talk it into existence, is 10 or more after 7. So just keep that in mind. Hopefully we don't ever have to bring it up again. Count quickly going to 1-0 on Nick Croce. He struck out swinging in the first inning, had a single in the third, stole second, and came around to score as part of that 4-run Stallions crooked number that you see up on the scoreboard in right. Peyton keeping a close eye on Cameron Carroll, back off second to 1-0. Bulleted down and away, and Croce quickly getting ahead 2-0. Croce, 228 was his average chip away this spring. There's actually a guy, when I was looking up Nick Croce at first, when first got the Stallions roster for the summer, that was drafted by San Diego in 2008 in the 45th round out of Mission Bay High School. So kind of got him confused at first because I was like, what the heck is this guy doing Saugerties, New York? I mean, all these years ago, unless, I don't know, because you got to be college eligible, of course, to play in the PGCBL because it's a collegiate league, but then quickly scarfed that away when I very clicked down on the next name on Baseball Reference, and there was, of course, the Pine Bush, New York native, Nick Croce, who plays for Chipaway College. Back to second, Carroll's short lead, and we'll go 3-0 on the fastball missed from Peyton. Wants to get a lot more movement on his fastball stuff. See Pat Dangler going jogging down towards the Outlaw bullpen and right. He's projected to get a start this week at home as this one bombed left field foul territory. Stays in the yard here at Cantine. But it's a 3-1 count. Curious to see who will be the next man out of the Oneonta pen tonight. If even though played just 2 games this week, have used an abundance of arms, burned through 5 the other night. As this one turned on out in the left, foul ground. Zach Rowe unable to get there, make a play. And after Dan Payton fell behind 3-0, Croce now finds himself in a full count. It's 3-2. Wading's going to shift off of first here on the infield. Connolly drifting back over, trying to cover behind Carroll. Peyton turning back and forth, now deals. Caught off the end of the bat, foul, rolling behind the plate, so we'll try it again. Sad Porter getting a new baseball. Zach Robinson pinched way over towards third here by Jay Scholler on the left side of the Oneonta infield. You are set up straightaway center. Is this one another high fly ball out in the left? Jason at bat. Zach Rowe at the trick. Over the fence. Zach Rowe. Somehow that one squeaked between the fences. I don't know how that comes into existence here in Saugerties, but it clears the bases. It's a pair of RBIs. First home run of the summer, Nick Crow C. And just like that, it's a Stallions 8-1 lead. Dan Payton, just as he did opening night in Amsterdam, surrenders a lawn ball. And now you got to start to think that the leash is going to be short for him. He was efficient at getting those outs in the third coming in behind Staroba, despite allowing the base runners to reach. But now, well, having a hard time getting somebody out in the fourth. Travis Hobbins-Siefkin will settle into the box. 8-1 Stallions. Hobbins-Siefkin had an RBI single. Struck out, ended inning one as well. Peyton takes one down and away, ball one. Peyton with that massive leg kick, and that one sailing high and up 2-0. Got to hope that he doesn't have a tell with that back leg kick, as it just seems like his left foot's kind of kicking up a little bit more on the off-speed stuff here. As the 2-0. Hobbins-Siefkin bombing it off foul down in the left field, and the count goes 2-1. Hobbins-Siefkin hit in each of the first two meetings against the Outlaws this summer. He's a returning guy for this group. Didn't play summer ball last year, but did play for Saugerties 2 years ago. Is this one in the left? Zach Rowe just inside the line, stays fair. Hobbins-Siefkin's going to chug around first. He'll get to second standing up on a double. And the Stallions continuing to rake here in their home park. Coach Keaton March going to walk out of the dugout here for the Outlaws, as we'll see if he's going to take the ball from Peyton. 3 straight hard-hit balls, and that one, just a very unfortunate one, stays fair. Mark is going to look down to left field, and so Dan Payton's going to be out. He records just 3 outs, and now walks back to the dugout. We'll introduce you to the new Outlaw pitcher after this break. Stallions, an 8-1 lead here in Saugerties. Another new Outlaw bullpen arm as we bring you back here to Saugerties on Outlaw YouTube. Colin Carver going to be the man to follow Dan Payton and Evan Staroba. He inherits a runner at second as it's Travis Hobbins-Siefkin after the third straight extra base hit by Dan Payton ends his outing. Justin Ford will be the first man to see Justin Ford, who made his second appearance of the summer here coming out. 6'1", 210 he stands at. He's a righty from Deep River, Connecticut, and he threw the 9th inning against the Utica Blue Sox in the home victory, which accounts for the only Outlaw win in PGCBL play to this point. That was an 11-3 final on June 4th. Gave up a hit, a run, and an earned run. Is that down and away? Had to throw 22 pitches in that inning as well, as Carver was kind of struggling with his command, was having a hard time popping him in the zone, and so Blue Sox were going swinging all over the place. Carver, though, has been one of the lost who's been coming early, putting in the work, and been throwing bullpens, trying to ready himself for another shot. As Ford hard hit ball in the left. That one going to stay fair, almost an exact replay of Hobbins-Siefkin's double. Cruising into second, standing up. That's an RBI double. Justin Ford, fourth straight extra base hit for Saugerties. It is 9-1 Stallions. So Saugerties is absolutely pumped, and this crowd is loving every second how this fourth inning is going down. Jamie Z will trot up next for this team. Z went hacking for one and did clip it, as it will be strike one. He popped up to Zach Porter behind the plate in the second inning, singled, advanced to second on an E2, and then came in to score on a sac fly by Logan Sanchez in the third inning. Everybody's been contributing 1-9 for Saugerties tonight to this point. Carver looks behind him 0-1. Straight backwards on a foul tip, and it's now 0-2. Zach Porter coming out to talk to Colin Carver. Probably not a bad move here. Made sure they're both on the same page. Surprised, honestly, we haven't seen more of this. Outlaw catchers talking to pitchers when they have a tough inning. But again, it's Division I catchers. They're knowing what they're calling back there, and I mean, you just got to trust your stuff, hope things turn around, and being as Colin Carver's a D1 arm for Marist, could quickly turn around in a dime. He could spin and gem of an outing and give himself a good look moving forward, but he's got 2 strikes on Jamie Z. Now looks for a put down. 0-2. Swung right through as Z down reaching for one. And finally, after 6 batters reach base for Saugerties, and out gets recorded. Coming into the box, Casey Comiskey walked into second. He struck out in the third, and this one, Carver airmails it to the backstop. So charging up 90 feet goes Justin Ford, and he will be at third, but still just 1 out and a 1-0 count on Comiskey. Comiskey walking in that second inning. It was a long AB, 7 total pitches as he lays off 1, ball 2. Waiting, drifting up a little bit on the right side, edge of the grass. It's like everybody wants to pinch up as well. Kohler's the only one who's playing any sorts of back. Connolly comes up the middle. And Comiskey taking another miss on the fastball from Carver. And a count to 3-0. Carver this spring, only 2 appearances. 2/3 of an inning against Wake on the road, and then a third of an inning against Quinnipiac, and he got rang up in both. Gave up 5 runs, all were earned at Wake back on February 16th, and then just over a month later, Quinnipiac gave up 1 run, was earned, third of an inning through 15 pitches. Back in the zone again, strike two, and this is the Colin Carver that everybody got accustomed to seeing in 2024 as well as in his high school career. Carver was an electric arm. I think it was his senior year of high school. He finished with an ERA that was only a .71. So certainly outstanding, as that'll be in the dirt ball 4. Showed some grit, showed some fight, and getting 2 straight strikes after falling behind 3-0, but it's not enough to shut the door. Runners at the corners for the Stallions, and now Oneonta is going to be looking for a ground ball, trailing 9-1 here, bottom 4. Logan Sanchez walked and was stranded on second in the second, and we also had a fly out to right in the third. Carver set up first base side of the rubber. Comes set with that one. Big swing. Sanchez going to trail 0-1. Outlaws, you were hoping there was some promise, hoping that things would start to kind of turn a corner here. I was talking about it in the office this morning, but it's been, well, since June 30th of last year since this team won a game away from Damaski. As there's a called strike 2, and Comiskey going to grab the second base stolen bat, taking away the double play chance on the infield. So 0-2 on Sanchez. Behind him, it'll be Jack Painter, and then top of the lineup. This will bounce in the dirt, and Porter use a chest protector, keeping it in front, as it's to 1-2. Stallions 9 runs on 9 hits, and they have 1 error in the field. Outlaws just the 1 run on 3 hits, 2 errors. Again, waiting, will drift up. 1-2 pitch. Upstairs. 2-2. Sanchez going to kick that right foot way up on the edge of the chalk line. Poke that left foot back a bit. Puts one up behind the dish. So that'll get out of Cantine Field, and we'll try it again. Carver. Ready's here. Another go, 2-2. And that's a fastball that got underneath it, did Sanchez. So once more we'll try it. He's already seen sit. Still your count's 2-2. Blasted high in the air towards left. Zach Rowe chugging back on the warning track, jumps and comes down with it. Both base runners will tag. Another run crosses the plate as Justin Ford scores from third. Sacrifice RBI Logan Sanchez. And Comiskey gets to third as well. So 9 runs is the lead for the Stallions. There's now 2 outs, though, so that's a bit positive. Got to find the positives where you can get them, as Jet Painter will walk up next. Painter, first pitch hacking, fouls one up. Over the bleachers, third base line, behind the Stallion dugout, so we'll try it again. Saugerties got the dugout here on the third base line, bullpen in left. Outlaws dugout on the first base line, bullpen in right. 0-1. And there's a called strike. Jack Painter struck out swinging to end the third inning, trying to not do it again. 2 consecutive half innings. Kazuhara's at Porter said that Jack Painter has got some nice pop in his bat. Kaz's roommate Mason was talking about what Jack brings to the table as well. As this one skips away, Zach Porter, gun throw down to first. Just in time, they get Painter on the drop third strike. So that's huge. K2-3, inning finally comes to a close, but not before the Stallions plate 5 on just 4 hits. There'll be no errors and 1 left on. Into the 5th we go here at Cantine Field. Your score is 10-1 Stallions. Waiting in the batter's box, facing a new arm here for Saugerties as we bring it back here to Cantine, top of inning 5. Sean Duke, who's in the portal after completing his junior year at North Carolina A&T. And that will again miss low. And the count to 2-0. Waiting did walk in the second inning. Continues to struggle a little bit and getting his timing back after pulling a disc in his lower back this spring. 2-0. Another miss, 3-0. He still is, continue to say, just finding ways to get on base, help this team however he can. And that's the sign of a true leader, and he is one of 10 returning Outlaws that have really kind of done their job and done their job as well as they can, despite the struggles for this team and the early goings of things. Count to 3-1. Sean Duke did finish the spring 10.80 ERA. Is Waiting, going to take the miss yet again, ball 4, and he will force the bat away and get on. So nothing wrong with taking the base runnings however you can get them at this point, as Kazuhara will walk up next in this 9-run ball game. Uhara grounded out 1-3 in the second inning. Outlaws left 2 on in that frame, as that one will come out at the letters and be called strike 1. Uhara was first pitch swinging his first time up. He's shown that he's willing to be aggressive in the batter's spots. Just haven't gotten balls to drop his way too much to this point. Here's the 0-1. And Uhara missiling it off foul. And so quickly a 0-2 count. Waiting, hanging around on that first base bag. Not too much of a threat to run. O2 pitch, going to sail upstairs. Uhara hoping that he can get something in the zone here that he can put a barrel on. Barreling up something has been an area where he's been hoping to kind of change things around here. As the count to 2-2. Sean Duke, a returning Saugerties Stallion after pitching here a year ago from Rhinebeck, so not too far. Here's the 2-2. That'll miss high. So the count running full. 6.75 was his ERA here in Saugerties a year ago. Had a couple of good outings. Even threw an inning and 2/3 scoreless ball against the Outlaws in the middle part of June last summer. A payoff. Straight back foul. So we'll try it again. His innings kind of diminished in the month of July last year. Stallions made a late push, seeing their season end yet again at the hands of the Amsterdam Mohawks, winning the lead 3 straight years. Payoff. Uhara checking his swing. And a late call from the field umpire. But Uhara going to be walking back to the dugout on a strikeout swinging. It's just Outlaws continue to get hosed time and time again. So back to the top of the lineup as it'll be Brendan Connolly. If you're going to make that call, you got to make it quick and you got to sell it. And, well, that's not what happened at all. Connolly checking his swing here. And this one, they're going to call it a strike. So Connolly on base twice tonight already, a couple of singles. Nothing in one. That'll sail high. Count to 1-1. Brendan Connolly this spring for the Hudson Valley Community College Vikings. Really turned it on back down the stretch. Had 6 multi-hit games over the course of their last 18 of the season. 1-1. And that'll get off the glove of Carroll. Rolls to the bat stop, waiting. Didn't get a good view on it, so he stays put. Didn't want to get gunned down at second either. Always jokes about the lack of speed he's got on the base pass, and he's really good sport about it too.
Hey, kid, come on, be a dog.
2-1. Connolly out in the air, left center, drops for a hit. Round in second, waiting, pumps the brakes there. And it will be first and second for Oneonta with just one away. So that dropped right between Ford and Rodriguez, about equidistant apart. Massive hit for the Laws. And now Zach Rowe will get a chance to swing the stick after popping up to third, his first time up in the third inning. Waiting, going to hang pretty close to first. Got to be a deep ball to score him from second as they try to get Connolly. This one bounces away from Sanchez. Doesn't get too far, but Waiting does advance 90 feet. So that'll be big. And now something shallow could potentially score Connor, as it will be first and third. But it's still one out. So that going to be an error on Carroll, as we'll pop that in. Now 2 errors apiece in the field tonight. Zach Rowe worked a 7-pitch at bat his first time up. He was not in the starting lineup tonight. Replaced Nathan Bose, who's out of this game due to injury. Is this one going to come off the chest protector? We wish Bose the best in his recovery. Short lead off first, Connolly. Rowe checking his swing. And he did indeed offer. So the count's going to run 1-2. Rowe pinching his right foot up a bit in the box. Guy who's always there, putting in the early work, doing the job. Fouling one straight back. So we'll keep at it. Still a short lead off of first. And now on the run goes Connolly. Rowe swinging right through it. Connolly down into second, trying to avoid the tag. And somehow, I guess he must have come off or something, because it certainly looked like he got there. He's standing there in disbelief, as it'll be a 2-4 caught stealing to end the half inning. And the lost threat once again going to get evaded. 10-1 is your score. Carver will be back on the hill. Bottom 5 coming up next after this break. Bottom 5 here at Cantine Field. Colin Carver back on the bump for another half inning. 5 runs on just 4 hits with 1 left on for Saugerties in the bottom of the 4th. They've really cracked this game wide open. And very rare do you say that a guy has come to the plate 3 times in the first 4 innings, but tonight's a case where you can say that. Saugerties has already gone through their lineup a full 3 times over the course of the first 4 innings. So Outlaws really got to slow the roll here, stop this game where it's at. Is this one out in shallow center? Yohara running makes it on it. T came sprinting in and able to reach up there, come down with it. So scored as a line shot to center. And down will go Cameron Carroll. Carroll blasted an RBI double back in the 4th inning. That was one of those hits Dan Payton ended up surrendering before he was pulled out of the ball game. Gave up double to Carroll, 2-run bomb to Crow C, and then a double to Aubin Stiefkin before plug got pulled, and well, in came Colin Carver, and he saw 5 guys. Got 3 outs, so kind of efficient at the very least. And right now in a game like this, kind of efficient is okay. 1-1. That one off the plate goes to 2-1. Waiting will drift over a bit off first. Outlaws have already been on the wrong end of that run rule here in the PGCBL once this season. Certainly don't want to have it happen again. And up on the board, you have the exact same score from when the Laws were first here on June the 1st. It was a final. At this point, just trying to keep this game at a 9-run deficit, or else come up and get some runs and hopefully slice it closer. Don't want to see that run rule become a factor yet again. 2-2 count on Carroll. 1 down here, bottom 5. Is this one great break? And Carver can't believe it. Is the count going full? Carver thought for sure he had that one, as we'll get another payoff. 3-2. Drills him on the right leg. So Carroll will fire the bat away. He'll be on with just 1 out, and we'll go to Nick Crow C. Crow C's 2 for 3. He's had 2 really barreled up balls in this game. And a single, stole a bag, scored a run in the 3rd, and then he, of course, had that 2-run shot to left his last time up. There's a strike as Carver creeping one back in the zone after a couple of pitches that were all over the place. 0-1, and that'll miss in just above the shoes. 1-1. All ones on the board. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. This one, Porter swats it down off his glove, keeps it in front of him as the count's to 2-1. Outlaws got to find a way to be a little bit better on the offensive side of the ball. Just 4 hits to this point on that end of things. Got to find a way to limit the damage and keep some games close here moving forward. Big week coming up at home. We talked about it already. Some huge promotional nights. You can let us know here on YouTube Live which one you're most looking forward to. Tee-off time, family fun night. We've got Star Wars night and Hawaiian night all coming up this week. 4 of 5 at home after a long road stretch here for the Laws starting off the season. Unplanned, too, but can't do anything about that because we had that exhibition opener against Auburn, had the home game against Utica And other than that, it's been everything away from Damaski Field, with the exception of practice, bullpens, and BP. 2-2. That'll miss away. And even though that Auburn game didn't count for the standings, was a convincing win because the Double Days have been pretty dang good since then. You saw our out-of-town scoreboard, brand new graphic, welcoming it to the broadcast tonight for the first time earlier on. And Double Days, 3-2-1 since they came to Oneonta on the run going Carroll, but misses the zone. And Croce taking ball 4. So it will be first and second. Steal will be evaded for the Stallions. And there's still just one away, and it looks like Carver is going to be out after just 1 1/3. So the Outlaws bringing in another new arm here at Cantine. We'll introduce you when we come back. First appearance of the summer that will count for Patrick Dangler here in Saugerties as he gets greeted by a hard hit ball to the left center gap off the bat of Hobbin Siefkin. Around in third, cruising in to score comes Carroll, sliding into second. The tag not in time. And, well, Pat Dangler, not exactly the way he wanted to get greeted, as that will be a double. Hobbin Siefkin, RBI. And Carroll scores, move Croce to third. And you just hope that that's kind of the end of it here. Dangler surrendering up 1, and maybe he can settle himself into a rhythm after that. He was very good in his first outing of the year. Came in the Outlaws exhibition against Auburn, got the start in that one as he gets a drop in the zone for a called strike 1. Final line against the Double Days, 4 innings, 4 hits, 1 run. It was earned. He walked 1 and struck out 1 as he was really hitting all his spots as that one down and away. He is working out of a bit of a lower arm slot tonight than it seems like we're used to seeing. I know he's been working on some new stuff, trying to factor in a new pitch. 1-1, And that one down and away, 2-1. Got Waiting pinched in on the edge of the grass here on the infield. Connolly off to the left of the bag. Is that one, another drop down and away, 3-1. So after he gets a strike, 3 straight balls, Dangler trying to fight back. And he's always good about that. Dangler's got one of the best fight hearts of just about anybody you can meet in any sport. Here's the 3-1. That one sails high, ball 4, and Justin Ford will be on courtesy of the walk. So the pond will be full for the Saugerties Stallions. And we'll go to Jamie Z. Dangler just shaking around out there, trying to get himself loose. Again, I know the plan was to get him a start this coming week, and you got to wonder if that might be evaded here and trying to get probably 5 outs tonight. But we'll see. Jamie Z ahead, 1-0 in the count. Looking forward to golfing tomorrow with Pat, our annual Outlaws golf outing tomorrow morning. We'll be golfing 9 a.m. Oneonta Golf Course. So even though we'd like to have our registration closed, you can always pop out, check out, and see what's going on. And will be a fun time. It was last year. We had 8 teams. I think we got 14. We were looking at trying to add one more here last second, so maybe 15. But it should be a great day. Oneonta Golf Course tomorrow, and need some fun after 2 trips to Saugerties here in 3 days that haven't gone the way of the Laws. Two 2-1. That one down and outside, 3-1. Dangler last summer, 4 scoreless appearances. Last summer, this is his 3rd season. Here's an Oneonta Outlaw. You can call him Outlaws Iron Man. He just comes out, continues to fight, do everything he can for this team. Payoff. Down and away, ball 4. And so that will be an RBI for Jamie Z. Watson a run. Stallions lead goes to 12-1. As tonight has just been everything but Oneonta's night. So there's still just 1 away here, bottom 5. Nobody stretching down in the Oneonta bullpen. So this is Dangler's inning no matter what happens, I guess. That'll be a straight to Comiskey. Comiskey's been on base twice, courtesy of Watts. Also has stolen a bag. Ian Wirtz will go running down to the bullpen in right. So got to think that'll mean that another arm will start to get loose here soon. Count to 1-1. Last summer, the outing that was truly impressive for Dangler had an inning up at Utica end of June. I think it was June 26th. We're playing a doubleheader up there. Needed just 3 pitches to record 3 outs as Richard makes a grab on the run. We're going to play at the plate. Porter not going to turn around and slap a tag on. Another run courtesy of a sacrifice. Saugerties' lead goes to 13-1, but finally there's now 2 outs on the board. So we'll be F9 for Comiskey with an RBI in the process. Move Hobbins Siefkin up from 3rd. Justin Ford heads to 3rd, so it will be runners at the corners with 2 down. And now Logan Sanchez to bat. But the outing, not only 3 pitches on 3 outs, Utica ending a game 1 of a doubleheader was really impressive. He did take player of the game for that one for the Laws, but the outing that really defined the season that he had was his final one, final weekend. Laws were scarfed for arms up in Glens Falls. He went 6 innings through 118 pitches, 7 hits, 4 runs, all were earned, 5 walks, 5 Ks. Just showed that Dangler is willing to put it all on the line for this team. And Evan Staroba finished that game off behind Dangler, so kind of a flip-flopper role. Staroba started tonight, and now you see Dangler later in the game, but I don't know. It was just a remarkable thing, and Dangler was hurting for a while after it, but he is a true warrior out there on the hill, and it looks like he's having a hard time getting comfortable right now. Just with some of the motions that he's been making out there. So hopefully Dangler is able to get something in here, swing and a miss on the off speeder. Get this thing to come to a close. Grew up in Hobart, has great family, and has lots of support at just about every single home game. Even on the road, the Danglers come out quite a bit. Count running full here on Sanchez, so this will be a massive pitch trying to end the inning. Saugerties, after being held scoreless in the first, crooked number each of the last 4 half innings. Here's the payoff. Blasted out towards right. Richards going for a run over towards the line. Drops into his left. Justin Ford scores from third. Cruising to third, standing up. No slide is Z. And lead goes to 14-1 for the Stallions. We'll clear the count off. And, yep, score's now right. This will be the most runs Saugerties has scored already this year. It's finally a bouncing ball. Connolly fields to waiting. Inning comes to a close. Stallions played up four more. Send 9 to the plate in the half inning. Luis Rodriguez will get a 5th at-bat of the game. When we come back in the 6th, Outlaws going to come to the plate first, though. Top 6. They look to crack into this thing as they trail by 13 here at Cantine.
Large projects, small projects, municipal projects, GA1.
Back here to Cantine Field, top of inning number 6. New pitcher on the mound for the Saugerties Stallions. Going to be Logan Seep, the lefty, who's attending Herkimer. Clark skyrocketing one out in the right center, drifting over. That's caught by Haben Seifkid. So he comes down with a big one. Start things off. Landon Seep getting greeted with a loud out in his first appearance for the Stallions. From Dutchess County, New York, Seep stands 5'11", 195. Played a lot of middle infield in high school as well before transitioning pitching standpoint fully. Big late kick and toe tap. And there's a strike, making it 0-2. Can Landon Seep, first appearance of the summer for Saugerties, trying to keep the Outlaws scoreless as this one, shallow center, losing the hat. Rodriguez comes in, makes the grab. And there's another quick out. Landon Seep's working efficiently. And now Jace Kohler will come to the plate. Outlaws now just 6 runs in almost 2 2/3 games against the Saugerties Stallions to this point. Jace Kohler going to take a called strike 1. He's been on once tonight. Fielder's choice in the first, got left there. Also had a strikeout swinging in the third. Here's the 0-1. That'll bounce off the plate. Count to 1-1. Kohler's really enjoying his time in Oneonta so far. Really is a great place to play summer ball. And speaking of great places to play summer ball, again, 4 home games coming up this week as Kohler, Tower, and fly ball out in the right center. Hobbit Siefkin, Rodriguez, and it's Rodriguez who makes the grab. Ends the half inning just like that. 3 barreled up balls to the outfield. None fall for hits. Bottom 6 coming up next. Stallions still with a massive lead here in their home ballpark. Another outlaw call to the bullpen for head coach Keaton Mark as we bring him back here to Cantine Field, bottom of the 6th. Mr. Alex Burciaga going to take over the bump after Pat Dangler only goes 2/3 of an inning. I already have used 4 arms, so Burciaga's the 5th. Stroba went 2, Patton goes 1+, Carver goes 1 1/3+, and then Dangler goes 2/3, and here's Burciaga. And this is about as low leverage of a situation as it can get. Burciaga, his first appearance of the summer that'll count for the stat books after throwing two innings, to get the save in the exhibition win against the Auburn Double Days opening night at Damaski Field. Burciaga did not pitch at all this spring at SUNY Cobleskill. He was ineligible. So he's trying to get himself chance to go back to school ball next year for the Fighting Tigers, get some big innings. Rodriguez going to be brushed back by off-speed. Like a changeup from Burciaga. Clips mid to upper 70s on his off-speed stuff. Burciaga played summer ball last year as well, down on Long Island. As that one passed his outstretched up, diving Connolly just barely couldn't come up with it as it scoots into center field. So Rodriguez going to have a leadoff single. Stallions have had a leadoff base runner and all but one inning tonight. So 6 innings, and they've had a leadoff base runner in 5 of them. Cameron Carroll going to come up next. He started the game 0 for 2, quickly turned it around, fly out to center, fly out to right. Then he had an RBI double, scored a run in the 4th, hit by pitch and scored a run in the 5th. Burciaga's keeping a close eye at first. Would be huge if the Outlaws could find a way to get a ground ball here. As this one sprayed off foul. So the count going to 0-1. Want to get out of this as quick as you can. Get on the bus, get out of here, get the off day tomorrow, get a chance to reset, regroup, because right now it's definitely much needed. Nothing in 1. Great drop from Burciaga on that. There's 0-2. Burciaga's final line in that exhibition opening win, 2 innings, no hits, no runs, no earned runs. Walking 2, struck out 2 is the 0-2. Swung right through. Carroll goes pulling for 1. He can't connect. There's 1 away. So the Alex Burciaga K counter on the summer goes to 3, and we'll go to Nick Croce. Nick Croce on base each of the last 3 times after striking out swinging against Evan Staroba back in the 1st inning. Count to 1-0 on the off-speed miss. Looks like Burciaga's really pumping his off-speed stuff, working on stuff. Short lead for Rodriguez is this one. Waiting, almost slapped the tag on. Burciaga, the 1-0. And there's a called strike backdoor yet again. He's really catching his spots on the outer edge of the plate. Count 1-1 here. (12-4) is the hits on the board. Rodriguez looking like he wants to run. Stayed put for now is another one swinging a miss. Nick Croce now 1 strike from being retired. Burciaga mentioning his summer ball experience last summer. Came for the Bayside Blue Claws. 10 appearances, all were starts. 2-1 record, 29 2/3 innings. 29 hits, 16 earned runs with 14 walks, 26 strikeouts. Keeps an eye on Luis Rodriguez over there. Got to wonder who's going to be in contention for the start for the Outlaws Monday. It might be Martin Thorsland from SUNY Oneonta. Is the 1-2. Sent on off foul behind the plate. Saugerties, tough week coming up, starting Monday when they go to Amsterdam. That'll be at 6:45. And again, the Outlaws 2 in a row at home for an off day Wednesday. Then trip to Glens Falls for the first time before 2 more at home on Friday, Saturday. Swing and a miss. Burciaga, 2 straight strikeouts after the single that greeted him in. So don't mind seeing that at all. We'll go to Hobbin Siefkin as Burciaga trying to get a third quick out. Get the Laws back to the plate, top 7. Hobbin Siefkin, very big in stature, even looks bigger than he is. As Burciaga almost airmailed that one, but luckily Wading's got a really good glove over there at first. Burciaga again checking a base runner. It's Hobbit Siefkin taking a called strike. Burciaga will step off. Now he'll regroup. Oh, what? Hobbin Siefkin up the line, foul ground. And so now Burciaga just 1 pitch away from getting himself out of the 6th inning and sending us to that. Will probably be decisive, top 7. Burciaga keep a close eye at first. Here's the 0-2. That'll sail up and away. Warder sliding over, keeping that one in front of him. One-two pitch. Swung on and missed. Alex Burciaga strikes out 3 in a row after the Luis Rodriguez single to start the half inning. We will go to the top of the 7th here in Saugerties. Stallions still with a big lead here on Laws YouTube. Top 7 here in Saugerties. Outlaws trying to prevent the mercy run rule loss. As Dane Richards, first pitch swing, gonna pop one right side, drifting over towards the line. It's caught finally. As Travis Hobbins Stiefkid having to cover a ways to get it done. So that's a quick, efficient out. Landon Seep only needed 7 pitches to get through the 6th inning with 3 flyouts, 1 out at Siefkin, and 2 in a row to Rodriguez. Richards now shooting one up that gets caught, and Outlaws down to their final 2 outs, trailing by 13. Zach Robinson going to take one high. That's ball 1. Seep bombs another one down and away, ball 2. Seep will kick and fire from the right side. Robinson straight on backwards. Counts to 2-1. Outlaws just one hit since the third inning in which they scored their only run. Robinson now in a 2-2 count. See, gets and deals. Swung on and missed. And now the Outlaws are down to their last out. Need to score 3 to prevent the mercy run rule loss. Ian Wirtz gonna try something. Wirtz watches one low. That's ball 1. Seeps one out. Wirtz taking another. Count to 2-0. Big swing and a miss. So the count runs 2-1 here on Wirtz. Seep another offering. Wirtz a big swing and a miss. Outlaws are down to their last strike here in Saugerties. Seep, couple of shakeoffs and now deals. Wirtz watching one. They were looking for the punchy to end the game, but not going to get it on that. Counts full here on Wirtz. Here's the payoff. Wirtz watches it, ball 4, and that keeps the ball game going. So Wirtz will at least get on base for the first time tonight. Again, continuing to look for those little positives. We'll go to Connor Waiting. Again, Waiting with 2 outs on the board, hoping to put something in play. Find himself a hit, still looking for one. Landon Seep takes a close eye over there at first. Waiting, half swing, and he did go around. So that'll be strike 1. Just flared that bat around. Was hoping he could hold it up in time, but to no avail. Quick check look to first. Here's the 0-1. Waiting. Move backwards as the count goes to 1-1. Short lead off first, and there's a called strike 2. As Waiting going to be down to his last strike. So Landon Seep trying to end the game right here. And 1-2, and that'll bounce in the dirt. Count back to even. Outlaws just don't want to see this thing end just yet. 2-2, swung right through, ball game's over. Outlaws gonna be mercied for the second time this year and the second time in the last week. 14-1's your final. Saugerties takes the victory. They have 12 hits, 2 errors. Outlaws, 1 run, just 4 hits and 2 errors. We're back in action Monday. Hosting Utica, 7 p.m. Saugerties goes to Amsterdam Monday, 6:45. Stallions back to 500. Outlaws drop to 1-6. And that's it for tonight here on Outlaw YouTube. Your final, Saugerties 14-1. We'll see you Monday at Damascus. As always, roll Laws.